We lost this acquisition by 12 hours. 12 hours! $12. Timing's everything. Hey, Chris Zuiker with Media Options. Help companies to acquire the wrong version of the brand, broke on some of the best domain names on the planet. Check that out over at MediaOptions.com. Check out CHRISZUKER.com. Check out my YouTube. Check out my podcast. I'm still doing podcasts. Almost to 1,000. I think I've done over 1,000, but it's up there. It's a lot of podcasts. Check it out. Lots of stories on domain names there. Anyways, timing. Industry, we talk about timing a lot, and like every industry talks about timing, but I mean, wow, this was a crazy week. We lost an acquisition on a couple of domain names by 12 hours. They sold it underneath us, didn't come back, didn't ask for a better offer, sold the domain names. We went back to them. They said, they're gone. The flip to that is that there's a domain name that we were also, actually, same thing, trying to acquire this domain name. And the person came back and was just, the price he gave was like super high, like in a different galaxy. Maybe somebody with like warp speed could get to that galaxy. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Everything's possible. I hear the crazy stories every single day. But my client couldn't get up there, and we went with a different offer, with a different set of domain names, and so it's done. It's like they're not coming back. And it's interesting because, so often in this business, like many times you think that you're negotiating, many times you think you have leverage, and the reality is that you just don't have leverage. You just don't have it. In the first instance, we lost the sale. We thought we had a little bit of leverage, a little bit of time. We made an offer. My client would have come up a little bit higher, and yet they sold it. Like they didn't come back to us. On this other deal, they had their domain name set at a very high level, and thinking that my client would come back. We'd come back and make an offer, and if there was really desire and leaning in that maybe something could get done, and yet my client walked to a different domain name. I believe he had like 8 domain names we were going after at the time, and 2 others worked. These 2 others were actually better domain names, and so like it's done, it's gone. Like they're saying, I went back to my client. They're like, "Hey, Chris, like let's focus on what we just bought because we've got to build that out, get it going, make some money on that before we go after some other domain names." And so, listen, what's the lesson? The lesson is timing. Like make sure on both these. Like one, I think the owner could have got more money, and in the second instance, they could have actually sold the domain and got an offer had they have kept that conversation going. And so that's the lesson. Is like timing. Like, how's your timing? Where in your business, are you negotiating with someone and you're thinking you're playing this long game, but the reality is that you're not really negotiating. They have desire. There's things in the background that they're working on. And, quite honestly, this deal might die. You're not going to make the deal. And so you have to move. And where in your business, from the other side of it, maybe you're trying to sell a domain name and we're maybe trying to buy a domain name and you're thinking you got leverage. And it's like, listen, the market moves. The market in some of these industries is moving pretty quick. And if you sleep, it's someone else going to come. Maybe it's a competitor. Maybe it's a new business. Maybe it's an main investor. I don't know, right? But timing is very important. Make sure that you're taking that into consideration when you're negotiating, and so you don't miss the sale.